Good morning, traders. So how do we trade the Aussie today? So some very interesting patterns brewing here on the Aussie, and I'll show you on the oscillators when we look at the ichimoku. But for now, let's just have a look at our simple moving average, our simple trading strategy here, which is not simple moving averages, but weighted moving averages. Okay, so first things first. We had this consolidation here, and then we broke through it. We had this consolidation, we broke up, we've got another consolidation. Okay, now the oscillators here are looking like they're starting to roll. We're outside the Bollinger, on the Bollinger. Okay, so we have a Bollinger W top. Okay, we don't see a W top here on the daily. All we see is inside bar, inside bar, inside bar. Now that is an extremely bearish signal. Okay, but at the same time, it is testing this previous breakouts. Okay, so it's pretty much this is the second time that it's testing this breakout. Now, I can give you the quick answer to this before we start looking at the price action, but let's just first focus on price action. And on the daily, what is happening here is, one hand, it looks like consolidation, but because these bars are all inside bars, this is a triple inside bar pattern, which is a bearish pattern, and there's a high probability of a break to the downside. Okay, and we've got quite a few magnets. We've got a gap there, we've got a gap there, we've got a gap there. We've got quite a few magnets. The crossover here of the averages is telling us that we have some upside momentum that we need to expect. But, normally how you'd play this kind of crossover, you'd be long and you'd have a stop down below here. And on Aussie at the moment, that is not an option in my opinion, because that is a 4,000 point stop loss. Okay, so institutions may be willing to do that. I'm not. Anyway, let's get down to the 4 hour. So you can see we still haven't really made a lower low. We've made kind of ever so slightly, we've made a lower low, but it's more of a double bottom at this stage. And the 4 hour oscillators, we did group here, we've now rolled off, and we're in no man's land. Okay, challenge is we are below the 200 moving average, so we've really failed to get through it. Okay, and the second part of this problem is that we have had a bearish crossover here. Okay, so looking at this on the 4 hour, I'm more inclined to believe that a break below this fractal level here of 47,800 is going to give us downside. Okay, so let's just give you a view here on the 1 hour, and you can see the 1 hour is giving us a different picture, saying bottom of range, expect to move to the upside. Okay, lots of mixed signals. Okay, now I said to you, I'll give you the quick answer, and we're going to do that now. So 10 cent currently, our good old friend 10 cent, is down 4%. So what does that mean? That means gap down today and downward momentum. Okay, so this is more than likely going to break the downside. We're going to close this gap, and don't be too surprised if we don't attack this bottom gap as well. Okay, so I reckon you're probably going to end up 375 points, 1,400 points down to the bottom here, which is possible. Okay, so I'm actually not even interested in trading this today, and until we get, I've made a decision with the Aussie. As soon as we get change in directions, confirmation of change in directions, I'll take the trades. But what's going to happen here? We're going to have a massive gap down, then we're going to consolidate, and then sort of just maybe amble down until the US opens, and then we'll follow the US market. So if the US market is down, then we'll continue down. If it's up, we'll continue to the upside. So yeah, I'm really not interested in this at this stage. So that's kind of the view. Normal price action, you would say, okay, it's worthy of taking a long here for a bounce back up here because we've had a strong move, so it's looking like a consolidation pattern. But yeah, with 10 cent down that far, that's not going to happen. Anyway, so let's just have a look at the ichimoku. And I want to start with the daily here, just to give you. So as you remember, on the previous strategy, we had all the oscillators grouping to the upside. Now what we have is the oscillator coming to the downside, which would indicate that we have a range here. Okay, and we've had a bullish crossover. So from an Ichimoku perspective on the daily, a test of this break here is very possible. And if you measure the height of the range, what's that? That is 1,264. So it wouldn't surprise me if it closes the gap, 1,400, pretty close. Okay, so on the daily here, nothing really to write home about. And I'd expect it, to be honest with you, just taking emotion out of this. And this, I have a love-hate relationship with Aussie, but I would expect a retest of this trend break, and that's quite a deep pullback. Okay, so on the 4-hour, nothing really to look at on the 4-hour. You can see we've pretty much above the cloud, so that's the other thing on the 4-hour. It could be a retest of the cloud. So let's just have a look at how far that is. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want that. So if we bring that down to the cloud, 1,800 points. So, but again, the oscillator is indicating otherwise. But looking just at the chart, and if I ignore the 10 cent, 4% down, I would say you should be looking for longs. Except on the hour where we are in the cloud here, and we sort of had a crossover. So, yeah, a lot of mixed signals that I think for me, staying far away from this. I think you've got better setups on the DAX and the Dow at the moment, and less margin that you've got to put at risk. And also your stops are a lot tighter, and just healthier price action, and it's not dominated by one stock being 10 cent holdings. So yeah, so that's me for today on Aussie. I have no interest in trading this today. What I'll be looking for is I may be looking at a bounce, but it's been a Friday. It's pointless even trying to get in for a long. You never know what happens over the weekend. And we'll just watch and see how this thing unfolds. My biggest problem with this thing is what typically happens is, like here, we have a massive gap down, and then you think, oh, momentum's the downside, and you look for your shorts, and immediately it reverses. For no rhyme or reason. It normally never does it off a level. Very rarely does it off a level. Normally overshoots a level by 200-300 points and then builds itself. So I think expect lots of volatility today on this index, especially for the first hour of trading. And then what may happen is it may form a base. So I would say this gap here is going to close most definitely. And then you've got the bottom of this cloud here at 47,040, where you may get some kind of price action, move to the upside. But if the US comes off a bit, then look for this gap to close here. Okay, so if you're looking for you're looking to play the short. Now, if you're playing on IG or something right now, you probably find that there's merit in going short at the moment before the market opens, because you'll be able to get the gap down and then wait and see what happens with that first half-hour candle. And I think here again, first half hour broke to the downside and trended. First half hour broke to the downside, didn't do much, reversed and came up. This one, first half hour here, broke to the upside, then reversed to the downside. So you're getting like a 50% success rate on the opening range breakouts as well. Yeah, and if you look at the first hour of trading, if I do this, so there's my first hour of trading. You're missing out on the first bit of the move, but at least it is giving you a better signal. But then again, it's not hitting the range targets for the first hour of trading. There it hit the target, here it hasn't. Here it hasn't. And here it did. And here it did. So yeah, I think, yeah. Well, for me, I'm not interested. If you are going to be trading this today, just be careful. Expect a big gap down. Expect this gap to be closed, and expect the buyers to step in at these different levels. There's a 200 moving average, there's a gap, there's a 200 moving average, there's a bit of flat cloud, there's inside bar here, there's consolidation here. And if I look on the daily, you can see there's a level there, there's a level there, and let's put another one in here. There's a level there as well. So there's an inside tail, and it coincides with Kijinson and Dickinson. Okay, so yeah, I think that's kind of my view for today. I expect this thing to come back. Whether it is the range height, that's another possibility. So in other words, it is definitely a possibility, and that targets this gap close here. Okay, not say it'll happen today, but it could very well happen on Monday. But then again, this market is driven by international markets and Tencent at the moment. So whichever direction they go in is the direction that this thing is going to travel in. And lastly, the other thing to bear in mind is that Tencent may just all of a sudden climb 4% before the close, which mitigates all of that. So yeah, doesn't help you much, I know, but my advice is really just look at the Dow or the DAX or even the FTSE. The price action patterns work out. You've got a better probability of everything working out. And if by some miracle this thing doesn't break below this range, then there will be a long to trade to the upside. And if it does break below here, you can look for your shorts, keep your stops tight, and just remember you've got multiple targets to the downside. So look to take profit at every single target area. You'll see a rebound, then you may see a bit of a consolidation and a move down, and you'll be doing this on it's like 15 or 12 minutes. Don't fool yourself into thinking you're going to pick it up off the hour. It's going to be very volatile. Okay. Anyway, guys, nothing else I can see here. 12, 15 minute trend is down. So I suppose trade with the trend. Look at the lower time frames and just try to follow the trend. So that's me for today. Hope it helps. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you later. Cheers now.